Most men don't get rejected directly. They get drained slowly, by a woman who never truly saw them as more than an option. And the tragedy is, it rarely happens in a loud, obvious way. It's quiet. Subtle. It starts with something small, a missed text here, a half-hearted reply there. Then come the excuses, I've just been busy, you know how life gets, I'll make it up to you. You want to believe her, because the moments when she's sweet feel real. But those moments are strategic. Before you realize it, you're caught in a cycle. You keep trying to impress her, to prove you're worth her time, while she gives you just enough crumbs to keep you hooked. A compliment here, a little affection there, never enough to build, just enough to keep you waiting. And by the time you notice what's happening, it's too late. You've already invested your time, your emotions, your peace of mind. While she's moved on, mentally, maybe even physically, leaving you confused and questioning your worth. So before you waste months chasing someone who's only pretending to care, listen carefully. Because in this video, we're breaking down 7 subtle signs she's not serious, and may just be using you. Some of these truths might sting, but they'll save you something far more valuable than love. Your energy, your clarity, and your self-respect. Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in that gray area, where you couldn't tell if she genuinely liked you? Or if she just liked the attention you gave her? Be honest, drop a yes in the comments if that's ever been you. Because once you recognize these signs, you'll never fall for the same pattern again. 1. She only reaches out when it benefits her. This is the biggest red flag, and yet, it's the one most men choose to ignore. You see, not every woman disappears when she's not interested. Some will linger, just close enough to keep your attention, but far enough to never have to commit. She'll text when she's bored. She'll call when she's lonely. She'll suddenly miss you when her plans fall through or when another guy goes silent. But pay attention, it's never about you. It's about what you give her: comfort, validation, emotional warmth. You've become her emotional pit stop, a place she visits when the world gets cold, then leaves when she feels better. A woman who's genuinely interested doesn't need a reason to reach out. She'll send a message just because something reminded her of you. She'll check in to see how your day went, not because she's lonely, but because she cares. But when she only reaches out on her terms, when every interaction benefits her in some way, she's telling you exactly where you stand. You're not a priority. You're a placeholder. Here's the psychology behind it. People who crave attention but fear emotional accountability use connection as a form of control. Every time you reply, every time you chase, every time you give her the attention she craves, it feeds her ego. Your presence becomes her dopamine hit. It makes her feel wanted, admired, in control. But the moment you stop giving her that energy, she doesn't reach out, she doesn't ask if you're okay, she just vanishes. Not because she's hurt, but because her supply ran out. That's the cold truth. You weren't being chosen, you were being used as an emotional battery. And until you stop charging her ego, she'll keep coming back. Not for love, not for connection, but for the comfort you give her every time she feels empty. 2. She never matches your effort. Real attraction is always mutual. It's not one person chasing, while the other sits back and enjoys being wanted. If you're the one constantly initiating, constantly planning, constantly showing up, while she gives you crumbs, that's not she's busy. That's disinterest wearing a polite mask. Attraction doesn't make people inconsistent, it makes them intentional. A woman who's truly interested won't just respond, she'll reciprocate. She'll find ways to meet you halfway. Maybe a thoughtful message, a small surprise, or even just remembering something you said. Because effort is a reflection of emotional investment. When she cares, you'll feel it, not in what she says, but in what she does. But when you're the only one keeping the connection alive, sending the first text, planning every meetup, keeping conversations from dying, you're not in a relationship. You're maintaining an illusion. You've built an emotional bridge that only you walk across. And here's the truth most people overlook. When someone truly wants you, they make it obvious. They don't leave you guessing, they don't make you chase clarity. But when they don't, they make excuses. They'll say things like, "I'm just bad at texting. I've been so busy lately. I didn't want to seem too eager." No, they're just not prioritizing you. Because in human behavior, effort always reveals emotion. And indifference? It always hides behind excuses. The moment you stop overcompensating, the truth becomes painfully clear. You'll realize the connection only existed because you kept it alive. 3. She avoids clarity. I don't do labels. Let's not rush things. I just want to see where it goes. Sounds casual, right? But those words, they're not harmless. They're calculated. Avoiding clarity isn't about taking things slow. It's about maintaining control. Because clarity brings accountability, and accountability kills her advantage. As long as things remain undefined, she holds the power. You invest emotionally, while she stays free to explore her options. And here's the subtle psychology behind it. People who fear losing comfort but also fear commitment live in emotional limbo. They keep their options open because they crave the feeling of being desired, without the responsibility that comes with giving back. So what happens? She gets the best parts of a relationship, your attention, your loyalty, your care, without having to call it one. She enjoys the warmth of your affection but avoids the weight of accountability. You, on the other hand, start overanalyzing everything. You wonder, are we something? Are we exclusive? Is she seeing someone else? But every time you try to bring it up, she dodges. She'll say you're overthinking or that you're ruining the vibe. No, you're just asking for the clarity she doesn't want to give. Because when she keeps things vague, she keeps you available, emotionally invested, but never secure. It's a comfortable position for her, but a draining one for you. A woman who truly values you doesn't risk losing you to uncertainty. She'll want to make it known, not because you asked, but because she knows what she wants. But if she keeps everything undefined, blurred, and open-ended, understand, she's not protecting her heart. She's protecting her freedom. And the longer you stay in that gray area, the more you teach her that she can keep you there. If this is resonating so far, hit that like button. It tells me you're someone who values awareness over fantasy, and it helps more people see this message. And don't forget to subscribe because this will help the community to grow. Thank you. She entertains other men. Here's where most men get caught in denial. You see her posting thirst traps, replying to flirty comments, or casually mentioning another guy who just makes her laugh, and you tell yourself, it's harmless. She's just friendly. But let's be honest, a woman genuinely interested in you doesn't need outside attention. When she's into you, her energy narrows. She stops scanning the room for validation because your presence, your consistency, already gives her what she needs. But when she still entertains other men, replying to late-night messages, keeping old flings in her orbit, or engaging in attention-bait posts, it's not about innocent fun. It's about ego maintenance. Here's the psychological truth. Validation acts like a dopamine hit, small, fleeting, and addictive. Every compliment, every heart emoji, every "Hey stranger" DM feeds her sense of worth, even if she never plans to take it further. It's not about wanting them, it's about wanting to feel wanted. And when you're with someone like that, you're not her partner, you're part of her audience. You're in a quiet competition with every name in her notifications. A woman who's emotionally invested doesn't risk the connection she values for cheap attention online. She doesn't crave public approval, she finds peace in private loyalty. But when she's still chasing digital applause, understand, she might like you, but she hasn't chosen you. Because genuine interest simplifies, it doesn't multiply. And if you're constantly wondering who else she's talking to, that uncertainty is your answer. 5. Everything revolves around her. At first, it feels subtle, almost innocent. You listen to her stories, her problems, her frustrations. You think you're just being supportive. But over time, you start to notice something. Every interaction begins and ends with her. Her comfort. Her emotions. Her schedule. You become the listener, the problem solver, the emotional anchor, while she sits at the center of attention. And here's where most men miss the red flag: she's not connecting with you, she's performing to you. Watch the patterns. When you talk about your dreams or your struggles, does she go quiet or quickly turn the focus back to herself? Does she ever ask, "How are you holding up?" Or does she only appear when she needs to be reassured, validated, or comforted? This is psychological self-centeredness, and in many cases, it mirrors what experts call narcissistic mirroring. She reflects emotions only when they serve her image. Your empathy becomes her emotional supply. You give energy, she absorbs it. And the balance disappears. It's not that she can't care, it's that she chooses not to, because the relationship isn't about partnership, it's about control. Her world expands when you revolve around her, and the moment you stop, she feels threatened. And that's when you start feeling invisible. Not because you've changed, but because, in her story, you were never the main character to begin with. Real love listens. It gives space for two voices, two hearts, two experiences. But when everything always leads back to her, that's not love. That's emotional gravity, and you're the one being pulled into her orbit. 6. She's hot and cold, on purpose. One moment, she's all in, calling you babe, complimenting you, maybe even hinting at a future together. The next moment, she's distant, distracted, and suddenly not in the mood. You start replaying every text, every word, wondering what you did wrong. But here's the unsettling truth: that confusion is the point. This isn't random mood swings, it's psychological conditioning. In behavioral psychology, there's a concept called intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism used in casinos and slot machines. You don't win every time, and that unpredictability keeps you hooked. Each time she pulls away, you chase harder. Each time she gives you affection again, your brain releases dopamine, rewarding the effort. And just like that, you're caught in the cycle. She becomes the prize you're trying to earn, not the partner you're growing with. That's why even when you feel drained or disrespected, you stay, because you're addicted to the highs that come after the lows. Here's the chilling part. Some people, consciously or not, know the power of this game. They've learned that by giving affection sparingly, they can keep someone emotionally dependent. It's control disguised as chemistry. A woman who's genuinely interested doesn't make you guess where you stand. Her warmth isn't selective, and her attention isn't performance-based. When someone's serious, their energy is consistent, because their intentions are real. But when it feels like you're constantly chasing the version of her that only shows up sometimes, you're not in a relationship, you're in a psychological loop. 7. Deep down, you already know. This is the hardest truth to accept, because it doesn't come from her actions, it comes from your intuition. You've felt it before. That quiet unease in your gut when her words don't match her behavior. When you sense distance, but she swears everything's fine. When you're the one trying to make it work, while she's just coasting. Deep down, you already know when something's off. You just keep convincing yourself otherwise, because the truth would mean starting over, letting go, or facing the pain of realizing you were never chosen in the first place. But here's the thing, real love doesn't confuse you. It doesn't leave you checking your phone, wondering if you did something wrong. It doesn't make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, waiting for her moods to decide your worth. Real connection brings peace, not pressure. When it's right, you don't have to chase consistency, it's just there. You don't have to decode messages, the intentions are clear. You don't have to wonder if you're enough, you just feel it. And if you're constantly anxious, replaying conversations, second-guessing your value, that's not love. That's your intuition waving a red flag, begging you to pay attention. Because the longer you ignore that voice, the more it costs you, your time, your confidence, your ability to trust again. But once you start seeing behavior for what it is, not what you wish it was, something powerful happens. You stop trying to be chosen, and start choosing yourself. And ironically, that's when everything changes. Because women aren't a mystery, behavior is communication. When you stop chasing words and start observing patterns, you'll never have to question someone's intentions again. You'll recognize the difference between someone who wants attention and someone who wants you. So let's bring it all together. If she only reaches out when it benefits her. If she never matches your effort. If she avoids clarity, entertains others, keeps you guessing, and makes everything revolve around her. You already have your answer. You're not being chosen. You're being used. And I know that's not easy to accept, because deep down, you hoped she'd see your value, eventually. But here's the truth most men overlook. You don't convince someone to value you by staying longer. You teach them how to treat you by walking away when they don't. The truth isn't meant to hurt, it's meant to free you. Because the moment you stop chasing what drains you, you start attracting what respects you. Peace doesn't come from being wanted, it comes from being valued. So tell me in the comments. Which of these 7 signs hit you the hardest, and what did it teach you about relationships? If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button, it helps the channel grow and gets this message out to more people who need it. And if you want more deep dives into psychology, attraction, and human behavior, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because awareness isn't just knowledge, it's power. And power, when used wisely, becomes self-respect. Remember, energy doesn't lie. You can fake charm. You can fake interest. But you can't fake intention. People's words may sound convincing, but their consistency always tells the truth. If her actions don't align with her affection, believe the energy, not the excuse. Protect your time, because once it's gone, you don't get it back. Protect your peace, because it's worth more than temporary attention. And most importantly, never settle for being someone's backup plan when you were built to be someone's first choice. Because the right person won't drain you, confuse you, or make you question your worth. They'll recognize it and match it. Until next time, stay sharp and protect your peace.